Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. Today is hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We're excited to talk to our guests about how to build assets and how to be an asset. But let's begin by knowing the truth, you guys, okay?
All right.
So today is Wealth Wednesday, and the truth is that your birthright, our birthright, is prosperity and abundance. And the extent to which we assign power over to money is the extent to which we experience being powerless in the realm of money. So I'm so excited today to claim our birthright together, knowing the truth. As together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And so our incredible guest this morning, I'm so excited to welcome to the show on this Wealth Wednesday, two-time Tony Award-winning producer. Good morning, Catherine Shriver. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Oh, and we have Tiffany in the house.
Yes.
She's the founder of Skinny Bitch Pizza. It's taking over LALALAND and Instagram.
Hello. Good morning.
It's never too early for a little skinny bitch in the morning.
It's so good. We had it, that was like a month or two ago. It was so good.
Oh, well, yeah, we're excited to talk more about this.
First time we tried it. Ooh.
Here on Good Morning La La Land, we like to know what your morning routine is. How do you start your day? Tiffany, I'd love to start with you. What's your morning routine?
My morning routine's pretty boring. I usually get up, I work out actually around here, usually Pilates or Cycle House, and then I get to work. And I usually work until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So
There you go.
Yes.
Grind it out.
Yeah, spoken like a true entrepreneur.
ABG, always be grinding. Love it.
Catherine, what about you? What's your morning routine?
Well, I'm not in a very typical show business, but I get up, I meditate, and then I go to work. I work actually in my home, but then I maybe going out of town. We'll talk about it later, but it's not a typical kind of show business.
I'm not one for routines. No. Well, thank you all so much for being here. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
Awesome.
I think that there's no typical people that come on the show for
It's true.
sure.
It's
We love
true.
that's what we love about our guests for sure.
Yeah, and typical is a strange idea anyway, right? Like sort of normal. Who wants to be normal? It's boring.
Boring.
Who wants to be normal? I had a very atypical morning.
Did
this
you,
morning.
Jess?
I thought I was like, I am so on it. I woke up 5 minutes before my alarm, tried to do the whole meditating thing, drove myself to the gym. Realized when I got on the treadmill, I still had my mules on. I did not have my Nikes. I totally forgot my gym shoes.
That's great.
I was fully believing. I was like, I am on point
That's
today.
great.
No.
That's great.
Hilarious.
Typical morning.
Man.
Everybody was kind of giving me the side eye. I was like, okay, of course, you know.
That's tough. I'd say that's the only thing worse than forgetting my music at the gym is forgetting my shoes.
Right,
That's
yeah.
tough. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you forget your earplugs. You're like, oh, there it goes. My whole
Yeah, the whole
workout.
workout's
It's not
done.
gonna work out.
But if you
Yeah.
have mules on, I don't know, that may be a
Oh, yeah, I
showstopper.
did 45 minutes on the treadmill in my mules.
You did?
I was fully committed at that point. I was
Jez,
just going to go for it.
I love that about you, Jez. You would just push through.
I am
Yeah.
a pretty hot mess. If there ever was one, I embrace it fully.
Emphasis on the hot,
Oh,
right?
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
love that. Oh my gosh. I want to give a big shout out to my son. It's his 23rd birthday today. And I have to say, you guys, I'm a little bit nervous because, as you know, I made him a bunch of bead bracelets. And if he watches, well, time to open the package. And I'm so nervous because I think they're probably going to like all break.
Are they?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not like a professional bead maker,
Yeah.
so I was like trying to like tie him up and whatever. And so I super glued the little knots like they said you're supposed to and stuff. And
Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
so
I'm
sweet,
like-
Erin.
I'm thinking I'm going to send him some of the little plastic wrap just in case it like start breaking.
You're the greatest mom. Well, listen, if they do break, just take a little solace because I bought professional beads and they broke it.
Of course.
So it's
yeah.
just the nature of
I
things.
know, it's
Yeah.
so true, right?
Yeah. You're the
But I was
sweetest mom.
thinking about, I mean, I can't believe he's 23 years old, you guys.
It's my
I
mom.
mean, do you guys have like a birthday tradition for him?
No, we don't. We're not, you know, my family's not big on gifts, and we usually just have meals and stuff. I just went up there and visited him last 2 weekends ago and that was our, you know, little birthday thing. But I was thinking about Wealth Wednesday. I was thinking about when he was a little boy. I remember I waited tables. I did real estate during the day. I waited tables. And I literally had no money. So we would eat top ramen quite often. Like I didn't have any money at all. I saved every dime I made because I was like determined to get, you know, to a place where I had assets.
What was that like? So were you frustrated and like sad and depressed like most days, or how did you get through that?
I think that it's good when you do it young because you don't know any difference.
Yeah.
It's the people who have these extravagant lifestyles and then they have children, they're like, oh my gosh, like their entire lifestyle goes away. I had no lifestyle. There was nothing to take away from me. You know, going from a college kid where you're like, you eat top ramen, you do whatever it takes to make the hustle.
It's such a good point. Like, I think that I used to always think that like having a whole lot of money, like being born with a whole lot of money, was this huge blessing. And in lots of ways, it's a curse actually. Like, and I didn't realize that until I began like rubbing elbows with those kind of people or having those kind of people as clients. How sad often they are, and it's hard actually to develop or cultivate deep gratitude when your whole life you've been giving things, and it actually can be a very sad sort of existence, even though your life seems like it's full of so many great things.
My sad existence was my first job at 16. I had a brown apron, and I thought
Brown
I was
apron.
gonna break down. My first job was at the Cracker Barrel.
Oof.
And I if you've been to the Cracker Barrel, I mean,
Great place.
Great place.
Yeah.
Great place. Best biscuits in the country, by far. But let me tell you, I was very distraught at the brown apron I had to wear with my name on it and the stars that I would earn over the next couple of years.
That's
But
so
yeah, it was a humbling experience. I've always worked really hard for what I've done.
Jeslyn, you are one of the hardest workers in LA, in the world. I mean, you really are. You work all day and every day. You really do. Yeah, but it's a good point. Like, I remember as a kid, my first job, I think, was moving furniture. And I'll never forget that. I mean, those guys were getting paid minimum wage. They were working all day and all night. Some of them were in their 60s. Yeah, there were occasions where we had to lift cars that were falling off ramp. We had to catch the car and put it back on the ramp. Like stuff like that. These guys were, they made that job so enjoyable. Their sense of humor was incredible. They were so present. They joked the whole time. And my mind was blown because I was like, these guys are barely making enough money to live, okay? And they're doing some of the hardest manual labor in the world. And yet, their gratitude and their presence and their sense of humor is inspiring.
Right.
So at what point, though, in that job did you realize, you know what, this is not going to be the life path
Yeah,
for me, though?
first day, first hour. First hour.
No, when I got that brown apron on, I thought, this is never going to work for me.
That
Yeah.
happened to my son also, and I mean, he's grown so much, and he did a lot of manual labor, and he had a management company. He was doing all this labor, and I, as a mom, you're like, you don't want your child to do anything that's painful or suffering at all. And I just remember thinking, let him go through it, because I know as he does this, he's going to value so much more being able to use his mind for good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it totally worked, and he's become the most, Coburn, honestly, you're the most amazing, extraordinary human being. He is so loving, so kind, so personable, and has great social skills. I don't know where you got those because you didn't.
Happy birthday, Coburn.
Absolutely,
so,
brother.
Today on Wealth Wednesday, we wanted to talk about assets. What exactly is an asset? Erin, let's break that down.
Yeah, we've done this before, but an asset, there's basically assets and liabilities. And we're talking about this from a realm of everything in our life, from everything from an asset versus a liability in our health. We know how to build an asset is, eating good food, doing whatever. In business, it's buying assets like real estate or things that go up in value generally, or in business, it's having great partners or employees that are rising us up. Liabilities are like people in our life that are bringing us down, or cars or clothes or things that don't go up in value. They cause debt. Those are a liability. So yeah.
Awesome. What would you say is the most valuable asset in your life?
Oh, well, gosh. I mean, of course it's relationships. There's no question about it. But there's nothing like having some good assets that put off some residual income. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, passive income, all about the passive income.
I highly, highly recommend educating yourself, getting involved in some way of building passive income.
Well, it's really interesting, though, because in order to do that, you have to get out of your own way. And sometimes, for the most part, and for myself, I am my biggest liability.
How so, Jess?
The whole scarcity mindset. I really think in overcoming that, and, you want to say all day and every Wealth Wednesday, I accept this law of abundance, but really there's some reprogramming that I've been really doing, and I know a lot of you are doing that as well. So a lot of times it's great to think, oh yeah, I'm going to have this, side hustle, passive income. This all sounds great. Well, first you have to get out of your own way.
It's true.
So really, I want to recommend, if you've got that idea and that goal and that drive to pursue that, like the Lori Harts of the world, fantastic. But first you have to get out of your own way. You have to do your work, because otherwise you're really going to sabotage yourself and your business.
So what does that work look like for you, Jess? What do you do what do you feel good about doing that helps you get out of your own way?
Honestly, that's been a lot of self-reflection. That's been conversations with the both of you, with some of our incredible guests. Every Wednesday when they come in, we get to talk to these entrepreneurs who have built their business, who have pursued their passions, who have bootstrapped it to the top, right? When we say bootstrap, it's like, they have the blood, skin in the game. They're not making a dime, but they are really just pounding the pavement and making it happen for themselves. So I've been trying to do the same thing. I think I'm in entrepreneur life school. I didn't know what it meant to have a business, what that looked like for myself, but really in understanding you don't have to just accept what's given to you, whatever job, whatever modeling gig or hosting gig or acting job or waitressing, whatever it might be, you don't have to just accept that. You can choose what you want and then get out of your own way in order to go there.
Yeah,
Love
true.
that.
I think that it's an interesting time because a lot of people are building brands, they're building online businesses, and some things take a while to grow and they take money. And I think there's a distinction of going, you know, what is it that you're exactly selling, because it's an exchange, but you have to know what you're actually selling. And I think that there's a lot of us just like think, well, the universe will just magically somehow have something land in our lap, and that's true for some things. But I think when it comes down to actually building assets or building money, it has to be a very specific conversation. You have to at least know, what is the exchange? What is it that you're actually exchanging? And it needs to be, someone needs to desire that and need that, and it needs to benefit their life.
Well, and it has to be a conversation you have with yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't wait for everybody else to tell you what it is you should be building and how you should be building it. You have to make that decision for yourself. It's the only way you're going to be able to do it.
That's gold, absolute gold. I think when I think of the people I most admire and am most inspired by in my life, whether they're authors or actors or politicians or whoever, not many politicians, but to be
You're hanging out politicians.
I love politicians in their own respect. I will be honest with you, they're mostly authors and folks that teach other things. To that end, I would say that the greatest challenge when you're trying to create a business, or you're trying to spread an idea, or you're trying to make anything happen, you're trying to be great at anything, is taking score too soon. That has been the biggest trap, is you're like a year in, you're 2 years in, you're 10 years in, and there's an idea in your head that, oh, after so many years, it should have already popped. The book should have already sold. The movie project should have already been a huge success. But in my experience, some of the greatest successes of all time don't happen for years or decades.
Like, look at Dr. Drew. Like, he did that. He said he did Loveline for 10 years for free before.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that he also had a practice, so he made money the whole time.
Well, yeah,
so a lot of people have two things going on. They have their kind of like bigger picture goals, and you have to like make money today, otherwise you're going to stifle the creative factor.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills.
You got to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that being said, I will say that, like, I've noticed two different kinds of people. There are some people that have their main thing, right? It's just their main thing. They pursue it with all their passion. Totally. They don't have any side hustle. Totally. That's their thing. And then there are people that have the side hustle. It keeps their mind and energy away from worrying about this like passion project that's not turning out.
What's your side hustle?
I have no side hustle. My side hustle is just spirit.
He's got the best project. He is so low-key about everything. Way too humble, Rob.
Hashtag humble.
The man whisperer. That's gotta be so confusing for people sometimes, right?
He's got this amazing podcast. He's going to go on to win Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and who
as a team, that's our collective intention.
Well, it's really interesting though too, because you have such an interesting expertise. And so yesterday he sent both Erin and I personality tests.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Oh, yeah, so tell us about that.
And then the follow-up text was, and this is how your personality is sabotaging yourself. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, a little bait and switch there. No, it's the Enneagram. So Robert Holden talks a lot about this. I ran into Alyssa Nobriga, who we had on the show. Her husband Amelia was also on the show at this event this past weekend. And the Enneagram basically allows you to identify which personality type of 9 you are. And it just basically gives you your dominant personality type. And then the follow-up article was basically like, these are the things you want to be careful about. So for instance, I'm a type 9. I am a peacemaker. That's the name of it, right?
You are?
I'm apparently.
No, you're definitely a peacemaker.
Yeah, and so the challenge with peacemakers is that oftentimes they won't speak as assertively as they could, right? And I know it was a major problem for me earlier in my life. Later in my life, I've gotten a little bit better, but there's still moments I'm like, I probably could have said something. But I'm like, a wise man once said nothing.
Ooh,
right?
My grandmother always said the wisest one stays still. She's like,
wow.
She's like, if I want you to know anything, it's that. Remember when I died, the wisest one stays still.
I love that. Wow. See, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it, Dad?
Well,
What's your personality?
A lot of other things. I was a number 2.
2.
I didn't take it.
You didn't take it.
But basically, it was really interesting. It called it. Rob always calls me out. These tests always call me
Hopefully
out.
with
I have
love.
to do all this work. But basically, it was saying that really, I'm trying to show up for so many people in my life and seek validation from all of these other things, whether it's from the job I have, or the relationships I'm in, or the friendships I have, to validate me so I have a sense of self-worth to an extent in which I am pushing away opportunities, people, relationships, because I'm trying so hard to be worthy of them. It's this vicious, like, catch-22.
It is.
Welcome to the human vicious cycle.
Right?
We all have our issues, that's for sure.
No, it's such a good point, Jez, and I think that in lots of ways, honestly, that is even tougher. It can be tougher for women in lots of respects. I think sometimes for men, at least growing up, it was mostly for me performance oriented. So if I felt like I had my career okay, even if the rest of things weren't going that well, I was almost like let off the hook. I think for women, there's an expectation sometimes, a sort of very misguided expectation, that they have to have all their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And so you look to all those things to validate you.
And if you have any opinion, you're considered a skinny bitch, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding, no.
Right.
I'm joking.
It's true, yeah. It's true though.
But it makes me want to eat some cauliflower pizza, just saying.
I know. Well, we'll talk to the guest about that, won't we?
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning LaLaLand. We are back live in Los Angeles with two-time Tony Award-winning producer, Catherine Schreiber. I am so excited to welcome you to the show. Thank you.
Thrilled to be here.
So nice to
All
meet
the way
you.
from New York
Yes.
to La La Land. Your story is so inspiring.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about what brought you to Broadway.
Well, I was listening to your discussion before about assets and importance and following dreams, and I want to talk about that. I started out as an actress and a writer, and then I produced a play that I had co-written to act into in LA. So I decided to make something happen, which I think you were talking about before. You have to take control of your life. And then when I came to New York, I decided I would try to do my play. And someone said, well, if you want to do your play in New York, you should invest in a play on Broadway. And I said, well, I don't want to invest, I want to produce. And that was in 2010. And that show was next fall, and that was my first Tony-nominated show.
Wow.
So since 2010, I've been on this incredible ride, and I just think one of the great things for your listeners is not to be afraid. I was involved in this incredible play called The Scottsboro Boys, which is a musical on Broadway, which is the most important show that I've been involved with. And when it closed on Broadway, I was devastated, and it meant a lot to me. So I thought I should take it to London, and I had never done a show before in London, but I needed to give this play a bigger audience. And so I went to London, and here it was. I never produced before in London, and I produced this play in London, and then it went on to the West End, and we were nominated for 7 Oliviers, and we won the Evening Standard, and it's just an incredible play if you have it. Musical by Cantor Nebb, who did Cabaret in Chicago, the Scottsboro Boys.
You've been called the most generous and thoughtful producer.
Oh, thank you so
on
much.
Broadway. What does that mean to you?
Well, what I love to do with any show that I'm in is really, well, let me just go back. No producer does it alone. A producer, you have to bring in investors, you have to bring in other people, because shows are very expensive. They can cost $15 million to do a musical, or more now, $20 million. So obviously, I don't pay for that myself. So you bring in other people. So I like to share as much as possible with anyone that I bring in, my investors, and share information, share the joy of what we're doing, get them involved in ways they can help to promote the show. And I think also because I'm an actress and have been an actress, I can understand more what actors are going through. And like when we were doing Scottsboro Boys, one of the actors needed a cooler in his dressing room because it got so hot, and I made sure he had a refrigerator in there. So it's that kind of paying attention to details and understanding what people are going through.
So
but that's really sweet.
At the beginning of the show, we asked how you start your day, and you said you meditate in the morning. How has meditation played into the success within your business?
The arts and business, it's the most stressful business in the world. Okay, it isn't like you go into this to make money. Either acting, writing, you do this because it's a passion. When I started out, I sold Mary Kay. I was a waitress. I sold insulation. I did crazy. Really, I went into East LA and went into homes and sold insulation.
You got to do what you got to do.
I did whatever, and so you don't to make money. So the meditation helps relax you, but you. I mean, there are all these different things that you need to do to move ahead in your career. What else can I say about I was thinking about when you said what your assets are. My assets are the incredible plays and productions that I've done. And the more plays and what gives me joy is when I think about the work that I have been even a small part of and bringing to Broadway, and shows that are meaningful, that have made a difference. Shows like Angels in America, which talk about gay rights and the AIDS, what happened with the AIDS movement in the 80s. That shows like Next Fall, which talk about gay rights. Shows like the Scottsboro Boys, which deal with racism. So that's my
a huge
joy.
Asset.
That's my asset. And because I've done shows like that, so then people reach out to me because I want to be part of future shows that I might be doing.
Right, and so the asset is obviously your wisdom, all the assets. Of course, the shows are assets, but all your knowledge is huge assets.
Yes, that's true, and all that I've gained going along and what I can share with other people. And I love to share, and I love to bring on new investors, and I love to share. Well, let me just say for a second, theater is so important. It changes lives, and this is actually a new thing that I'm involved in that I want to share. I've seen, there's a woman in London, this is a little non sequitur, but she's been, for 13 years, she's been working in Kent, and she's been saving actually kids' lives through theater. She's been taking kids who have sort of been overlooked by the schools and helping them find a community. Theater can be a community to get involved with. she took this one boy who was basically the teachers had sort of lost faith in, and he had never sung a note in his life, and he now is singing Italian opera. So he's been transformed. He actually was on British Got Talent in London, and so now she's doing a documentary on how theater can transform lives.
How has theater transformed your life?
Well, that's an excellent question. I started out as an actress. It's my greatest joy to be in plays, and then I learned the joy of making a show happen that I haven't written and that I'm not in, but to bring something important to others that can change lives. So it's been the most important thing to me because of what it can do for others. How one of the plays, Stick Fly, was about middle-class blacks, and there were people who had never seen themselves on stage before, and I think that's one of the best things about theater is that people can see themselves on stage who haven't found a voice before, and they think no one cares about them or no one knows about them, and so theater can do that for people, and it can teach people. So next fall, for example, many people came out after seeing that show because they saw on stage themselves, and they were able to talk to grandparents and say, I'm gay, because they were able to see on stage what the strife is and what the struggle is for people. So,
but it's not just the theater that presents that opportunity. I hope you realize that. That's you.
Oh, well, that's so sweet.
You,
well,
Catherine, in creating a space and being so dedicated to your purpose and to your vision and your mission.
It is passion to me because it's a great joy to me. I want, racism, and with Scottsboro Boys, it boggles my mind how people can treat people like that. And unfortunately, we still see it going on today. So if there's a way by having a theater piece on stage where people can see how the horrors of when you treat people like that, and what it really does to somebody, and it can change people.
For sure.
That's the best thing that's so
important. They're the highest expression.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all your work.
Oh, thank you for having
find
me.
you?
www.catherinesschreiberproductions.com.
I love it.
Yeah.
In New York and London.
New York and London. Oh, let me just say, the play that goes wrong, which is this wonderful comedy I'm doing, is coming to LA. Tickets go on sale in September. It's going to be at the Amundsen. Nice. It won the Olivier for Best Comedy, and it isn't changing lives, but it is making you laugh all day long. And we need laughter.
Absolutely.
We absolutely, in today's world, we need laughter.
Ask Don Cousins. He believed he laughed himself to health. So
I totally believe that. We need to laugh every day.
Absolutely.
So that we can share that
Well, thank
joy.
you so much for everything. Knowing your art is your greatest asset because it's your highest expression. So stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
You got this, girl. Here we go.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me laugh.
That was a good practice run, though.
It was a practice run, a little slow on the uptake. Let's.
Hi, my name is Jessie Golden, and I am the creator of The Golden Secrets. Hang on a second, sorry. Can we start over?
I'm Wendy Brokaw. I'm Paula Marshall. By the way, this is politics, okay? This is not ticks. I hated it. Let's do it one more time.
Well, that's why I created Just a Thought meditation recordings, so that you can meditate in your sleep. Pause it there. Can you edit it in?
Being new in town, it gives me a perspective on, that was wrong.
No, can we start all over? That's too much talking.
No, I'm an actress. I mean, you've seen me. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's like so hard. It's so hard. That was so hard.
Once you go chocolate, you don't want to stop it.
Oh, God.
I'll stop.
Let's do it one more time.
Bitching,
Didn't work.
complaining.
Let me do it one more time.
We're going to do it one more time.
Ready? And action.
Do I just talk again? If you are vegan, you get a vegan broth. Jesus, guys. Fuck. I'm blah, blah.
I wish my boobs looked like yours. Where are they?
It's single issue. Single issue. Single issue.
Andy, did I make it fun yet? Thank you.
It's no longer a golden secret.
We're done!
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It is Wealth Wednesday, and no better way to start than with Skinny Bitch Kitchen. We have Tiffany Fiedler in the house. We're so excited to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I love your pizza.
First of all, this pizza has taken over LA. It's taken over Instagram.
People are
if you
addicted.
haven't seen the most instant pizza box in the planet, it's Skinny Bitch Pizza.
Right.
Where did this all start for you?
It all started because, well, I love pizza. And then I actually became gluten-free about 5 or 6 years ago. I was getting really bad psoriasis and just realized I had a gluten intolerance. So I stopped eating things like pizza for years and really missed it. And all the gluten-free options here, weren't great.
So it's cauliflower crust?
It's cauliflower crust with a blend of gluten-free flours.
Ooh.
And then just kind of knowing, all my girlfriends, we kind of like to shave calories on every little,
Anywhere we can, let's be
exactly,
honest.
from the sauce to the cheese. And, we don't use red meat. We use turkey pepperoni and turkey bacon. And I think any girl, if you had that option, you're going to go for it's slightly less calories. So.
I will say, hand on heart, it was the most enjoyable pepperoni I've had. Honest to God, because I didn't feel guilty about it. I actually felt good about eating the pizza, and I had fun. And I really am just so grateful that you've created a product that is guilt-free for us girls, especially here in LA.
And guys.
Yeah,
I love pizza. I was not a believer, I will tell you. But yes.
But I mean, really, you've created something very special in that we do get to treat ourselves without feeling the guilt. And we get to honor our dietary restrictions without saying,
Right. And it still tastes like pizza, so it's not, these like really, really healthy cauliflower pizzas that I think you're not getting that fix.
So today, obviously, we're talking about Wealth Wednesday, and you've built, a really cool brand here. And I looked on your website, it says delivery only. So what does that mean? How do you do it out of your home? Where do you do it?
No, so we have a kitchen right by USC, and it's a delivery only kitchen, so there's no front of house. And it's shared with a bunch of other brands that are there. And so, I mean, it's a much smaller investment, obviously, to just rent a kitchen. And I think part of that low investment, lower stakes, we were able to take a higher risk of saying, I want it to be pink, I want it to be gluten-free, I want it to target women. And, if it fails, then, fine, we'll try another brand or we'll try another concept, but using just kind of the delivery only part of it.
So obviously, building assets, we're talking about like your team also. How do you know like when someone is an asset versus, because I'm sure you work with all people and you're like, someone's like, not so much. This person's not that easy to work with.
Right.
Like how do you know someone's going to be an asset for your team?
Well, with Skinny Bitch, I think the brand is really fun, and there's a lot there, but it doesn't register for everyone, and I don't expect it to. But I think the employees that we have, they are our biggest fans, and they love the brand, and I can see them get upset if the pizza isn't made right, or if a customer is happy. Like they really, really care because they really love the brand, and I think that's the key, is really finding somebody that is your advocate, that feels that passion the same way that you do.
So true.
So of course, building a really strong team is very important. What would you say, what else is extremely important to building a successful business? Is there anything that you would identify as like the most important thing you just have to do if you want to build a successful business?
I think you have to be incredibly passionate about whatever it is you decide to get behind, because you have to have that endurance. So what is fueling you every day? Because there's so much work to be done. So you have to have something in there that's kind of pinging you.
I think that's so overlooked. It's so easy to tell people, oh, follow your bliss. And it just sounds like a cliche. But the truth is, you have to follow your bliss because you cannot maintain or sustain longevity doing something you hate or just kind of like.
Right, and it speaks to passion and love. When you love something, you can't help but be obsessed with it, and it kind of it's kind of pinging you in the head like that Energizer bunny that's just keeps going, and it's the one thing I think we can all as human beings rely on is, you know, what we love.
So Skinny Bitch being a startup, your startup, what's been your biggest milestone this far?
I think the 1-year anniversary, we launched May 10th last year.
Wow.
So hitting May 10th this year felt like a huge milestone, especially in the restaurant business. It's tough, you know, to last even just a year.
Congratulations.
So I think for us, you know, just that 1-year birthday for Skinny Bitch was really
So
cool.
what's your greatest marketing way? Like, what have you had the best results from?
It's social media. I mean, Instagram is really where I think we kind of drive
look
the
at
most
this.
traffic.
This is like Instagram.
Yeah,
And that's how I was introduced to Skinny Bitch.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was like, have you seen this? Your Instagram. And I was like, I am ordering it today.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's where we really talk to our customers, and they like to, you know, boomerang the box or just, you know, Insta story it. And so I actually get to see our customers, which not having a front of house, that's sort of where I get to see, you know, service in a way of, you know, how customers are reacting, and it's fun. It's kind of where we communicate.
Okay, so what's your mission? What is your Skinny Bitch vision?
We want to paint the world pink. That's really the mission. I think. I mean, I love pizza. I think a lot of people love pizza, and this is just kind of how we want to share it.
I love that. I try to wear my rose-colored glasses every day, but that's going to help a lot. I'm telling you, a whole lot.
We need a photo.
Yeah, totally.
So obviously, what's the website? Just say it aloud.
It's skinnybitchpizza.com.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Super easy to remember.
It's so rad. It's such a great concept. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
We are so excited. You're bringing back the heat. Season 4, Hit the Floor, coming out next week, July 10th.
Yes.
Wow.
10 o'clock, y'all, be eating.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That'll be real.
Hey, I mean, we filmed the show. I saw the premiere last night. We saw the first episode, so it's real.
Wow.
It's happening.
The LA Devil Girls are back.
Yeah, they're back. They're back in full force. Yeah. I don't know how I'm still dancing this hard. And Tiana Taylor is joining our cast. You know,
But it's kind of showcasing the culture of it, right?
Oh, yeah, for
money,
sure. The
kind of
sex, the fame,
behind
the scandal, and the jaw-dropping dances, because there's amazing dance in every single episode. Michael Ring is a choreographer, and he kills it every time. I mean, he's trying to kill me.
Day on the 4th of July. Also want to celebrate Ms. Leanne Tessa. She's an incredible talent. She's part of the Club Mickey Mouse. We got to celebrate with her at the recent release of her hit single, Runnin'. Rob and I were on the red carpet in the most recent issue of Focus magazine. Take a little peek right here. And she sang the national anthem at Dodgers Stadium.
Killed it.
right?
Killed it.
She sure
Let's
did.
take a look.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So awesome.
Nailed it. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land, and today I am a superwoman.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much for being on the show.
Bridget and Commander. Love you guys. Love that name, Commander.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Oh, gosh. Well, the army of women and men that we're working with, they kind of affectionately call me the commander because I kind of have a tendency to rally the troops.
And you've rallied them all the way to Forbes. I mean, the press you guys have gotten with this movement has been absolutely incredible. But for people who aren't familiar with I Am Superwoman, how would you break it down for us?
Well, I would just tell you, you know, the Me Too movement was so important, right? And we've been working in the trenches with women coming out of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. And so to know that women could finally speak and voice this, and men as well, right? Because that's been a very important part of this whole movement. The only problem is that we've seen that there's been almost a gender war that has been happening. And we still see that, you know, some people say, well, okay, Me Too, and it's time for it to be over. And we're like, No, it's not. However, it's time for women and men to work together in mutual dignity and respect for one another.
Absolutely.
Because what are we teaching our children? We're teaching our children and our grandchildren that it's, you know, that it's fine to continue to hurt one another and to keep moving forward in this climate. And what we're saying is, no, it's time to recalibrate, to re-educate society on what is actually really possible.
Oh, I love this. Love it. Yeah. So I love the Me Too. I love the Me Too, and I love the additional ways that you have complementing that and helping it to continue to evolve in positive directions. It's just beautiful.
Exactly. Yes, because women have to continue to own their voices. We're seeing this across the world and in our nation, from everyday life to boardrooms and prisons and other things, is that historically women have not been owning their voices. And the silence is where we get sick, right? We're only as sick as our secrets, and the silence is where we're sick. So when we can own it and voice it, and then we can change the narrative and create a brand new story, is where the power really comes in. And women and men who have been victims become victors over their lives. And leaders in society.
So what does that look like? I mean, everyone wants to be Superwoman. Of course, we all dress up in costumes when we were kids and want to be Superwoman. But what does that look like? So say, okay, I want to get involved now. I am a Superwoman. What does that mean?
Well, the biggest thing right now, we're so excited we're in LA right now because on Friday we have a Superwoman Summit. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're having a summit that we've invited women from your Los Angeles community, from the homeless shelters, from the shelters where the human trafficking women and children and families we've invited literally a large majority of your society here, or your community here in Los Angeles, but we're holding a Equality and Empowerment Summit, and we're bringing some of the most fabulous speakers you guys have ever. I mean, we're thinking it's a pretty cool summit. But I got to tell you,
Amanda says it's cool.
right?
Yeah.
Amanda says it's cool. Well, seriously, guys, we're bringing some, and I'll let Bridget say the names, but we're bringing federal judges and that have gone in and made this their life work. And I'd love for Bridget to give you the lineup because she's got this memorized. She actually wrote their bios, and so I want to make sure.
So it's at the Beverly Hilton, and it's this Friday. It goes from red carpet, 7:30 in the morning. A lot of these women have never been on a red carpet, so it's really fun for them to do that. And then it will go till 5. We have an American Idol singer and some others for entertainment. But we have former Honorable Judge Bruce Einhorn, who has just been instrumental in the language of the United States for asylum. And he's also helped more than 50 women to get out of human trafficking, sexual assault in different horrific situations and to gain asylum here, which has been amazing. We also have Parisa Khosrovi, who is a CNN award-winning, she was a vice president at CNN and also was responsible for a lot of the media that happened many, many years, several decades. And she's just very expressive and quite an advocate for women and voice, of course. And then we also have India Kinney Stearns, who was the vice president for Oprah for a couple of decades. And so she's bringing all of her powerful inspiration and enthusiasm to the table. So, I mean, it's just extraordinary women and men after extraordinary.
So it's basically about awareness. So it's all about awareness, is that?
And empowerment.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
I'm wondering, what was the moment in your life where you flipped the switch and you were a Superwoman?
You go for it.
Oh boy. Oh, that's a tough one. You know, I think the moment of my life when I realized I was a Superwoman is when I realized that I had the ability and the confidence to be the change. And I wasn't going to step back. And people say, why are you so successful in what you do? And I think if I could tell any of your readers or listeners, or that if you're going to take something on and you feel it in your heart, if you quit this far from the end zone, you're never going to be a success. You've got to ride that moment out, and you've got to ride it until you're completely solid and you know that you've done the landing and that you've done what you set out to do. So we all have superpowers. Each one of us have superpowers. Some of us have more than superpowers. And when I say superpowers, my superpower may be that I just have the ability to make people feel love. Bridget has superpowers, her own, you know, every one of us have that, and it, you know, it's not that, oh, we think we can fly or this or that, but really it's how we use it. We can. We're not telling you all.
But isn't that what a commander does, is helps bring out those superpowers?
Absolutely.
And pushes and pushes and pushes until it's like that there's something that just gets birthed out of that frustration.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And we see this every day with the women that are stepping into their own powers that have never expressed their life. They've been in a situation in a family, and this is all they've known. They've come from, let's just use drugs right now. They've come from drugs. Mom and dad used drugs. Grandma and grandpa used drugs. This is all they've known. So of course they're going to do the drugs. We're trying to recalibrate the next generation, because what's happening here is our society is a little bit off balance here, and we're kind of spiraling. And as our producer Sue Melky says, we're like a clunky old car driving down the road, and our GPS is off, and that's our society. And it's a good way to say it, but our internal GPS of our humanity is off. So what we're trying to do is recalibrate and bring everybody back in, because right now we're all kind of frustrated and we're all kind of scared. And the people came to us and said, what are you ladies doing? And we said, we did the hashtag Me Too and the Time's Up. We decided that we was going to do something. You know, I personally wanted to do something, and then she said it, and we looked at each other and we said, it's up to us. So we hashtagged, now it's up to me. So our hashtag, now it's up to me, is the next step, how to step out, step away from what's happening. We're asking people to use their voices, and we're asking people to be powerful and not be small. Play big, because inside of each of us, we're big. You are enough. We're all enough. And that's how it has to be. And don't ever let anybody make you feel small. It's so important that you exercise your own internal powers.
You can see why we call her the
I was
commander.
going to say, she was not misnamed. You were not misnamed.
I'd love to share something, if I might, because she has just motivated and inspired me. But I will tell you, after I wrote a book called The Witness Wore Red, which was about the 19th wife of 65 women who escaped from Warren Jeffs and the FLDS. And she was so courageous. And I saw the power of one woman to change the world. And I knew that I could no longer sit back and just always be behind the scenes and writing other people's stories and books. And I think for the, I'm getting emotional, the time for me that I really felt this was just a few months ago when we were teaching our curriculum in the prison. And we were teaching women and to be sheroes in their own lives, and about their superpowers and about raising their voice, and that their past did not define them. But they could have the power, and they did have the power to create a brand new chapter in their lives. And I saw the light come on in their eyes. And just as I have done so many times, I fell back in love with the human soul, because I think we're all about transformation. And this is why I love working with Commander. She's only told you like this much, but you know, she's been commissioned by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, other things, but she's building an army. We're building an army of women warriors that are saying, we are enough, and we're going to teach this to our own daughters and to our own sons, and we're going to create something magnificent in the world.
As long as I get to wear the outfit, that's all I got to say.
And we brought this,
and we want your cape as well.
Right? And we brought this to Los Angeles. We are having an event this Friday, and for your listeners and your viewers, we'd like to invite you all to the Beverly Hills Hilton. And if you mention this television show at the door, we would honor your network,
your entrance.
Wow. We will comp your people. We'll comp them because it's so important for us to make sure that people know this is out there. And we are nonprofit, so if someone comes in there, we are going to feed coffee and tea, and they're going to sit back and listen to these beautiful speakers. And we have some panelists, and oh my gosh. We haven't even had a little itsy bitsy a minute to tell you, but it's so spot on, right to the minute. But
oh, please tell them about Piper, please.
Oh yes, Piper. Oh gosh, I'm so sad. Her father. Okay, I'm going to mess her last name up. Piper Mullins. Is that it?
Is she one of your speakers?
Well, she's been a friend of mine first. She's a Facebook friend, but her father and her have been working together with the apartheid in Africa and freeing Nelson Mandela. She's been walking side by side with her father for years, and he just recently passed away. And he has done several acts of changing the fabric of how people, can, as far as equality. And when her and her father helped free Nelson Mandela, this beautiful man just passed away this week. So they're right now, as we speak, trying to commission the day September 9th. And I can't believe I don't want to misspell it, but they're going to commission that day as his day here in Los Angeles, and
as a global
kindness.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's
it's
amazing.
Something that is shifting the planet.
We'll be sure to follow you.
Yes.
Tell our viewers where they can follow you, because I'm sure you'll make that announcement when
We would do that.
happens.
And I'm sorry, Piper, about your last name. I just didn't have the spelling.
It's okay.
But what time does it start again on Friday?
So 7:30 a.m. is like red
registration.
carpet and registration, and we have wonderful refreshments to greet everyone with. And then the actual event will begin at 9 with music, and we have 2 wonderful acts of music that are Beverly Hills quality, which just excites us to no end.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the speakers, I just have to tell you, the stories that you're going to hear, the things. In fact, we would love all of you to be able to come as our special guests.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
You are going to be in the presence of leaders from across the nation who are doing amazing things in regards to this and who believe in being superwomen and supermen. So
Absolutely.
Definitely, for sure. Well, we definitely know that everyone is a Superman.
It just came to me,
Superwoman.
Piper Dellums.
There you go. And so it is, you guys. Stay tuned. We'll all be right back in one moment.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Simone, associate producer here at Focus TV Network, America's first live streaming daily talk show network with my favorite girl.
I'm Jessica Lee, producer and co-host of Good Morning La La Land. So Victoria, tell me what happened this week in Focus?
So we had the Ren Wood Show
with the hilarious Ben Glebe.
Yeah, we had Mama Tix
with Harley Ruda, the potential next congressman of California.
Oh, we had Dr. Nina actually in the house.
It was an incredible show. Meredith O'Connor was here. You've definitely seen her on YouTube. And we also had Cole Woods, the modelpreneur.
We have 2 new exciting shows. Some of them you may know from the Bachelor franchise. We had Josh Murray, Naked Chats. Yes,
and Josh Murray.
We had Demario Jackson in the hot seat.
We're so excited to welcome Lindsay Palis to the Focus family. She's got a new show, Eyes Up Here, and had a very special guest, Drama.
Speaking of Lindsay Palis, she was on Good Morning La La Land.
Yes, she was. We had a week full of very special guests. We also had a reality star from Real Housewives of Orange County, Gretchen Rossi.
Another Real Housewives of Orange County, we had Peggy Tanos.
And the jet guy, Hunter Gaylor. He is a man with a plan and a plane.
We had a special episode of Good Morning La La Land.
We did. It was co-hosted by Dr. Sandra Lee. You may know her as Dr. Pimple Popper. She brought in a slew of amazing industry guests. I'm so excited for you to take a look.
Have a divine day.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land. And of course, we have a lot of fun here at Focus TV. We have a blooper reel hosted by Brittany Zahn.
The change is starting happening. It's nope, bad take. Nope, nope. Oh, sorry, I messed up. I was talking to the guest. It's a little fast. Bet you don't have one of those in your phone. Nope. Andy's like, damn it, I'm doing things over here. Usually I'm a one-hit wonder with my videos, but right now, how many takes are we on, Andy? Woo! Okay. Think it's maybe take 12. Nope, messed up one word at the end. It's gonna drive me insane. Listen, I've never done so many takes in my life on one video. That was a good one. Good? You like that one? Are we gonna do a blooper reel? Andy's like, you're already on all of them.
Thank you so much for tuning into This Week in Focus.
We're hashtag community powered.
Thanks for joining us on Good Morning La La Land today on Wealth Wednesday. We're joined by 4 super women with superpowers. Really 6, but 4 guests. I think we have a question of the day.
Yeah, we wanted to ask, what are your personal superpowers? What would you say your superpower is?
I would say my superpower is unconditional love and bringing out darkness, and I can't even say it, bringing light into the darkness.
Like a guru.
People's stories, yes.
I believe my superpower is the ability to listen and stay neutral without judging or having an opinion either way, and appreciating and respecting each person's individual rights.
It's very advanced ability.
I think my superpower is my passion and my drive, and that I will do anything to make things happen.
I think my superpower is probably love and entertaining people. I love people in general, and I think that's kind of
And
It's delicious
providing that.
What's your superpower, Jess?
My superpower?
Yeah.
I'm a super connector.
You are. Yeah, you are.
That's a shout out Malcolm Gladwell on that.
Right?
What's your superpower, Rob?
It's recognizing that I of myself have no superpower, and truly is, and that the only power that I am able to express is in my recognition of spirit. So it's recognizing that my physical human self is really nothing, but that there's something deeper inside that's infinite and eternal and supernatural, essentially.
Beautiful.
That was beautiful.
I'd have to piggyback on that, in that I feel like I'm the most powerful when I'm in prayer, when I'm really doing spoken word. So the rest of the time, I'm just a human being doing my little identity thing.
You know what I feel really powerful is when I'm watching like The Rock's videos and he's like lifting weights. To be honest. Like, or he's having a cheat day, probably not with skinny pizza. He's on a bandwagon. But yes.
I love that.
I feel like a superpower woman. What? Superwoman?
Superwoman.
Superwoman.
Super powerful superwoman.
Exactly. With Good Morning La La Land, we are America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can catch your favorite interviews as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Please like, share, and comment. Enjoy these incredible events, Skinny Pizza, and let's go to Broadway next time we're in New York. That's what I'm saying. So have a great day.
It's going to be a good morning. Bye-bye.